Hey guys, today we're going to be finishing up our app. So what I'm going to do is just do a brief overview of what exactly we'll be doing today, and we'll be finishing up our app. You'll be able to sign up to my web service, and when you submit a task, you'll also be able to see other people's tasks from both classes. So the first thing I'm going to go over is in one of the Android packets that I had sent you, or I put on Moodle. It gives you a pretty cool list of Android UI stuff. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make all our buttons in our app touch enabled. So meaning when you press down, you're going to get this nice blue glow. So why do we want a glow? Well, when you touch something on the phone, you want to know that it's being pressed. Otherwise, so let's take out CPT. And as of right now, we click on a button. Even here, because I took away the normal button behavior, I cannot tell it's being touched until something pops up. And if there's any lag, users are going to think there's something wrong with the app. So even here, when I press cancel, a blue glow should come up saying, hey, I'm pressed, and it'll go away. We only need this for some of the stuff in the app, not exactly everything. So we're going to do it for these buttons and all our menu buttons. The buttons in my profile are okay because when you click on it, it switches screens, and the blue bars change. Let me see if I could just get to that real quick. And display none, and let's go to my profile, and I also have to take out the action bar. So as you can see, when I click here, it automatically changes the height of my blue line that we set our span, so you know that it's being touched right away, and there's no delay. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is let's refresh and get back to the main screen. We're going to do some setup work on Moodle. You should have a packet that says, and let me bring this up. And it should say class project logo and date picker essentials. Also, I included some iOS stuff, and I'll go through that really quickly. iOS. iOS themes, and this is actually really cool if anyone's making an iPhone app. Oh, I have to go back. Hold on. You have to open it in Chrome because obviously everything we do is WebKit based. Okay, so if you go to this site, it has all these cool, these are a little older style, but they're still cool, and I would still use them in some cases. You have our context menu, so if you press something and you want to say, do you want to cancel or submit or some other action, you could use this. It'll pop up, and then you click something, it goes down and fades out. That's iOS style. These are iOS buttons, maybe to sign up or submit a form. You could use these cool switches and switch them back and forth. And we have our, maybe if you have something with music or something, and you could adjust the volume. Some cool menu items, labels. This is cool. This is still, if you have an iPhone, you'll see this on your Mail app. And this is for list views. You can put it here, denoting that if you click it, there's more information to be seen. And this is just a dialog window, which we don't need because our PhoneGap provides us with the native alerts and stuff like that, so we don't have to worry about native alerts. And these are okay. They're a little bit off. But really, as cool are these buttons and switches. Also, there's a bunch of other things that I've included. Let's see. If someone's making a chat app, you set this as a background border, and it'll just wrap around your content no matter how much you have. It'll look just like the iOS chat app. Let me see. Forms doesn't come up. This has okay stuff. Let's see what else. This has the images loading, which is really cool. So it's a background, you set it, and when it loads, it just goes away. So you just set the background to the image of, or the LI of that spinner, and then once the image loads, it goes away. Anything else? This is cool if you were doing something with contacts, or things of that nature, contacts, or like maybe basic something where you need a user profile. This is pretty cool. This is cool. It shows you how the actual contacts are set up, and that'll be. I'll just go through this one. That's it. There's some cool lists. There's just tons of stuff here, so you're gonna have to go through it yourself. But I, put in about a couple hundred things, and from different people that have done some awesome things. Let's see. This guy did some cool stuff with switches. And let's see what else we have. This is cool. I stole this from him and I used it on one of my apps. This is really cool for nav bars. He did some cool gradients. His buttons are okay. I've seen better. But these are used for like top navigations. They're pretty cool. His switch doesn't work, but the list views are cool. These switches don't work, but he has some pretty cool UI stuff. I like the way he did his input boxes. Input boxes are a real pain. iPhone not so much, because iPhone has like a kind of a set standard of how they want their input boxes. Like this would be a search with the rounded edges. This is like a sign-up form. But Android's a little different. Either you could do it the way we've done it in class, where it looks like a blue bar, or you could do traditional, but it's completely up to your taste. I just want to show you the fancy way, so you guys could always just go back and change it to the regular if you wanted to. But there's some cool stuff, and it's pretty easy to make. You could just right click and see what CSS is being applied, and just copy and paste it. See, well, this is a background image and or a border, and it'll just expand your content. So a good way to learn CSS is to see good CSS or cool stuff and just right click it, inspect the element, and steal it right here on the side. And don't tell anyone I told you that. But yeah, so if you want to steal something, it's very easy to do. And I don't know if you guys have gone over. Let's see. Let's go to our Android stuff. I put in. Let's see, what the hell is this? Yeah, I put in a bunch of cool icons that you guys could use on your apps now and later on if you ever decide to do any apps. This is some cool themes. They're okay, but you know what? If you use these and you can just copy and paste your CSS, you don't have to do any work. So it's a trade-off. Sometimes it's okay if you're making a simple app to not have to build an interface every time. Let's see what else. This is pretty cool. It's what we've been doing kind of, except it's already themed. They have checkboxes that you could use. Let's see, what else do they have? And then they have the light theme, and this is our click response. You see the little halo, hence halo or holo, whatever, but that's what you get is a glow. That's the whole point of holo. And let's see, band examples. That's for iOS. If you ever want to use these, this is, say you have something like paragraphs and you want to hide it, and swipe, 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 and the buttons on the side will denote what index you're at, which is pretty cool. So you have, like, you know, a bunch of paragraphs and you swipe through to get to the end. That's in cubic iScroll examples. There's a bunch of stuff that I had put in here. I forgot that I put in here. This is pointless. Pointless. This is a pull to refresh. So if anyone's doing like a geolocation based app, you could technically pull down your list view and it'll refresh maybe your geolocation, and then it'll update the list for people who are pretty advanced and you know, want to do that. At least it's there. You can just check it out. There's pretty good documentation through all these pages. And those are scroll views. We don't have to worry about scroll views. Yeah, and this is cool. So, all right. So back to what we were doing. Let me go to what we'll be doing today. So that's one thing. We'll be doing our button or touch response. And let's go to Mobi Scroll. Now, obviously, there we could use technically the native date and time pickers, but if you're not really good at JavaScript, or at least have a good, decent understanding about how Android apps are made, you're gonna have a real problem trying to get it up and running. So we're just gonna use a plugin. Okay, so on Mobi Scroll, what they do is they have plugins so you could get the native calendars. So you have to pay for the calendar, but I'm just going to give you a demo anyway. So say you have an app where you need someone to put in the calendar. It's like a date picker. So we're going to use the date picker because it's free. So let me go back. They have a bunch of stuff, but what's important to me, and I think this is their best thing, is their date picker. Let's go to a demo. So what the date picker does, so on our app we have when our date is due. Since I don't want the user to be able to put in something stupid for the date, like you know, my mother is not the date that your date or your task is due, I don't want them to be able to type in a date because, you know, people maybe not know a format, or they're going to put in the wrong format, and maybe I want to do math where I want to say, you know, date is due in 10 days. If they don't put in the right date format, I'm going to have a serious issue doing that. So to prevent that, we use date time pickers. This one's the iOS theme. So we're going to use Android. I included in the bundle that I downloaded, Android ICS, which is the dark theme. Android ICS Lite is what we're using, and the traditional Android, which is okay. And this is like, you know, kind of a little old school now, but this is like the traditional Android style. So when you click on our date, pick our date, this will come up, and where you can have it, you can display it in line, which is not good. I would never use this. It's, instead of a text box altogether, this will show, which is no good. You can use it but not for what we're doing, because we have a pop out. You can have modal, which is in the middle. We're not going to use this one, which I prefer, but since we're already having a pop out in the middle of our screen, that's not going to work. So we're going to have to put it on the bottom. We have this is for tablets, for bigger, so it'll just come out right next to the input box and top, or what we're going to use is the bottom. So when you click on something, it'll just slide up from the bottom, and we'll be able to pick our date and set, and then our date will come, and every time you click on it, you won't be able to type, you'll just be able to pick a date, and that'll work. Okay, so and also there's some options like you can make them click instead of scroll, which I think that defeats the purpose of touchscreens. The whole point, and from our homework in the beginning of the semester, the whole point of phones is to manipulate objects. This is a hybrid, which you can do both. But again, what's the point of clicking? I think this clicking nonsense is for, websites where you're forced to use a mouse. So I don't understand why people would want to click on a phone that's not that big anyway, and they're going to be, clunky fingers. I'd rather them just be able to swipe right through things, which makes sense to me. And you're directly manipulating objects on the screen. This is okay, but I obviously am a little, partial to our iPhone light theme, which we've been going with the whole semester, and it has touch feedback already put in. Okay, so that's what we're going to use, and I already put that in our packet, and if I could just find it, I think it's here. We have, I already put in the demo, and this is just the regular Android one, but I'm going to show you how to change it if you want to change it, and you can put whatever you want, but I just prefer, the ICS Lite one. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's go to our CPT folder, open up Eclipse, and I don't need that, and just give me 1 second. Let's get rid of some stuff on the screen. Okay, I don't need that, and that's Camtasia. Okay, so I have our CPT folder out, and my folder that you should download from Moodle, and you're gonna have our Tasks with Friends logo, which is pretty cool. And we're gonna be able. That's what we're gonna use for our logo, and that's also the logo you should use for your final as well. Okay, so let's take our background image, and that would be Tasks with Friends. And let's go to our CPT, and I'm going to put it in my image folder with all our other images, and I'm just going to drag and drop it. And then I'm going to go back to my index. I'm going to open my index, and let's open our index in Notepad+. And let's open up our CSS folder, and it should be our index.css. Okay, and let's go to logo. And we have it set. I guess we just never had put it in. So let's change that to, instead of logo.png, Tasks with Friends, and save. And now it should come up. And if you hadn't wrote it, just set the background image to a URL like we've been doing. It's relative. It's one folder back, then in the image folder, and it's called Tasks with Friends.png. Background position center, like we've been doing, except we set our other images to the left center. Like for our choose from camera or file, except this is in the center, and we're just going to say we don't want it to repeat. And of course, if we were going to, we could also make it smaller. We could say background size 300 pixels by 200 pixels, and just to see what would happen, it would shrink our logo to 300 pixels wide and 200 pixels high. So this is the width, and this would be the height if you want to specify a background size instead of just the native size of the image that it came in. So you could set the actual background size. So okay, so now that we have that set, we're going to do the button responses for the sign up, login, cancel, and submit buttons. So what I want you to do is go to, I'm going to give you the links, and you're just going to download these JavaScripts because it takes JavaScript and CSS JavaScript is going to add a class for us, and the class will have the CSS that we need to make it like a bluish glow color. So this is link number 1, and this is link number 2. And these are the file names, and I want you to keep the file names. We're going to type in script source equals JS jqm.js, and it's important that jqm goes above depend because the depend takes stuff from the JavaScript of the jqm, and if the depend is first, it can't read the jqm. So the jqm JavaScript needs to be loaded first in the document. JS depend.js, and then type text JavaScript. And this is what we've been doing for the whole semester, so this is nothing new. And let's see, script, and let's just add the type text JavaScript. Okay, and once you the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scripts. This is my JQM jQuery for touch events, and let's see, and I'm going to go to my JS, and I'm going to create a new file, save as, and let's go to JavaScript, and let's save it as jqm.js. Okay, and let's close it and make a new file. And I'm going to my depend.js, and I'm going to save as depend.js. I'm going to close it because we don't need it, and then I'm going to copy and paste the links, and let's go to our index file, and let's put it on the bottom right before our database.js stuff over here. Okay, so now we have our two touch event JavaScripts linked. Okay, so we don't need anything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to I'm going to my Android folder, and we're going to get the CSS for our buttons, and this should be, let's see, and button hover, and this is it. And let me get rid of this, and our CSS, we're going to go right to, let's actually put it on top because this is a default, so let's do dot highlight. And what we need is a background color of £4AB-CE7 and box shadow 004 pixels. What this is offset. There's no offset at all, and it's 4 pixels of that blue, which gives it a glow. And as you can see, there's just 4 pixels of shadow around the whole entire button. So what 000 says is that there's no offset top, no offset left or center, and it'll just be around the whole entire button. Okay, so now that let's just make this look nice and save. Okay, and we are going to. Okay, so what we're going to do is bring highlight to the bottom of our CSS. And we had background color. Let's get rid of that and make that background because there's just Android's being a little quirky. Okay, and I already had written the script. So our buttons here, they have the class of long button. So we're just going to say any button that has the class of long button. And live.vMouseDown function is part of that jQuery mobile touch events. vMouseDown is as soon as you press it down, this will fire, and it's going to say this .a class highlight. So This would be whatever button you press. If you press this, this is this. If you press this button, this is this. So it's just targeting whatever long button you happen to click, because if not, it'll just highlight every single one of these. And it'll add the class highlight, which has that blue glow. And what we're going to do is copy and paste because we want to get rid of it. Otherwise, it'll just stay and it won't go away, because there's no event to say, hey, I want it to go away. So we had to do a vMouseUp function. And this dot remove class, so we're going to remove the class. Of highlight. And you could use this for anything. It doesn't have to be button events. You could say, you know, you could have this have a class, and when the user is pressing your image, it could disappear or shrink or something cool. And then on the vMouseUp, it could remove the class and it'll go back to its original state. There's a bunch of things you can do. I just use these for touch events. So now it'll just go away as soon as I let go. And now there's button response. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing. So we have dot left button. And we have dot right button. So let's just add them for right and left. Because unfortunately we're just going to have to do them for, we have a couple of classes and there's nothing I can do about that, obviously. So as long as we try to keep the amount of events we have, it's fine. Obviously we couldn't make, you know, dot right button, dot left button, because it needs to be on the right. So we have dot right button, dot live, dot mouse down function, add the class of highlight, and let's do the same thing. Dot right button, dot live, dot mouse up function, get rid of highlight, and let's do that for our left button. And these do everything does the same exact thing, so you will have that glow effect. And let's save. And we have our glow everywhere with our app. Okay, and ooh, is there? Oh, it's just a glow. Okay, and perfect. Okay, perfect. So it's a little quirky on Chrome, but it'll be fine in your app. So now every time that you press a button, you'll get the cool glow that we wanted. And that's pretty much the effect we were going after. So now you have some button response. So you know that I'm pressing cancel, I know that I'm pressing submit, and it'll go away. Okay? So we have our button response on page 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide our main page, and we're going to finish up our JavaScript, our CSS, and some of the things we have to do. We're going to add our date and time picker, and then we're going to add the functionality to send data to the web and then receive a response, and then you'll be able to upload your tasks. So let's go to our CSS, and let's go to login's our main page, right? And let's see. Oh, main page, and let's display none. And my profile, let's see what we got, and let's also bring back our action bar. Okay, so now we should have our my profile, and let's see what we have here. So now we have our since we have made all our classes the correct way, we need to take no further action in our submit and cancel button throughout our entire app, which is cool, because if you set up your CSS correctly and give things the right class, you need to take no further action for the most part. Okay, and let's see what we can do here. Let's add some button response to here. That full button, and this is not going to get the entire globe. What's going to happen is it'll have just the globe because it has a picture as a background, so it's not going to take the background parameter. Hold on one second. And it will just give us a outline, which is fine. You'll see how it's going to. So let's add full button for our mouse down function and full button for our V mouse up function. That will remove that class. And I already have a background, so it won't be the same. Let's go back to wrong thing. And instead, we're just going to get the glow outline. And once we click, you'll see that we click and it'll go away. Why is because we have these pictures here on the left hand side, so we don't want to cover them up, and we still want to see that we're clicking, so we're just going to have the holo outline. Okay, so let's add our vMouse function to our icon holder, and let's go to copy, and let's paste the icon holder. And anything with a picture, you want to refrain. See, what happens is that's what happens is that the whole entire thing will get the whole entire picture will get covered up by the blue glow. So we don't want that. So that's why on these we just have just outline, just so we can see that it's being pressed. And more than likely than not, we don't want this to happen. Okay, so let's get rid of that, and I just want to show you that's what would happen. Okay, and we could, if you want, you could create a custom class that's more opaque or just has a border just to show that it's being touched. The same thing with this. We don't want to kind of cover the pictures, so we're just going to leave them be. It's more important that these buttons here have some sort of touch response, and it does. Okay, so let's go to our view tasks, and we're going to fix this up a little bit. And let's span.text test name task. I'm sorry. First, let's go to our class, our task list. Okay, and we're going to get rid of that background color, and we're going to make it light. Let's make it like F3, F3, F3. Oops. And now it's nice and light, and we have a border that's pretty dark too, so we're going to make it a little less, we're going to make it a little bit more subtle. Okay, so let's, colors. So I'm just going to type in CSS colors in Google, and we're going to go through the colors, and let's see. This looks about good. And it's still dark, it's just not as in your face kind of as the one we have. And you could go on W3 Schools CSS colors, just get any hex code and put it in. And there you go. So now it looks a little bit better. It's a little less subtle. And it's just like, you know, you can still see the separation between each list item. It's just not so in your face. Okay, so let's style this a little bit. Let's test name span. Let's make our text align center. Where is it? Let's get rid of this. Let's text indent our name a little bit, about, let's say 20 pixels. Font size, let's tone it down a little bit to about 20, and let's give it a font family, and there's a bunch of font families you can use. Let's make it Arial, sans serif, and the right font to use is Roboto, but we don't have time to do fonts. Honestly, I could spend an entire semester on just CSS alone, an entire semester on just HTML structure alone. There's just way too much stuff to go through, and I have to kind of pick and choose what I do, unfortunately. But if you know how to link TTF fonts, you just add them into your project and make it Roboto, which is the official color, official font for Androids. Okay, so now it's pretty decent, and let's change this color to 333, and let's lighten it up a little bit so it's not as bold as your header or test name. Okay, so now we have our tasks that come up, okay, and they look a lot better. Let's go back. We're going to add a couple more things to our project, so let's go to our folder, and we have our JS folder, and in what I linked on Moodle, you go to instead of the pictures, you should have a folder that says JS. It should say mobiscroll.customs-2.5-2 or .2.min, and let's drag that into our project folder. And the CSS mobiscroll.custom. And let's go to our CSS folder, and let's drag and drop our CSS in there, and let's link it in our index.html file. All the way at the bottom, script type text dash JavaScript source equals JS, and I forgot. And it's mobiscroll.custom-2.5-2.min, and put it in quotes, and let's close this script, and let's go back to our CSS, and we're going to say link relevance is a style sheet, type text CSS href CSS, and it is CSS, and it will be mobiscroll.custom-2.5-2.min.css, and it's a self-closing tag, and let's close it. Okay, so now that it's linked and our JavaScript is linked, I already have made a demo, so I'm going to show you the demo that I've made. And okay, so let's just take a look, and I'm going to go back to my index, and I'm going to check this out. Okay, so you have to let's copy and paste at the bottom of the index from what we have on Moodle. I already made the script, so we'll cut it from here, and let's see, and we're going to bring it to our index.html file, and we're going to copy and paste it all the way at the bottom underneath our database.js file, and it's going to say var current equals new date, so it's going to get the new date, and this is just their library. So what it's saying is when you click the demo, the input type of text that has the ID of demo pop out. What theme do I want? We download the Android ICS, and ICS Lite. We're going to change this to ICS Lite, display bottom. And as I was showing you before, you could change this display to modal or top or inline. And mode, like we were showing before, you could have scroller, which I like. clicker or picker, and mixed. And date order, don't touch that. That's just the date order. And it's the same exact. So all we need is this, and this is actually nothing. I just want to keep it here for now. So let's save this, and we're going to go to where we have our, now where is it? Not edit info. We're going to add task, and cancel task. We have our ID of date due. So let's go down here and change demo to date due and save it. And let's restart our app. And oh, there must be an error somewhere. Oh. Okay, just give me 1 second. And let's restart it. Oh, I think I linked the JavaScript incorrectly. Yes, I did. So let's go on top and MobiScroll.custom-2.5.2.min. It looks correct to me, but I could be wrong. Let's go to my JS, and let's go to my JavaScript, and rename, and I'm going to just copy and paste from the folder because I probably just spelled it wrong because it's just so big. And let me see if that resolved my issue. And no, it's still not linking correctly. Yeah, sorry, I I just had to put .js at the end of my JavaScript, and I forgot to put that. So if you were following along, make sure you put .js at the end, and then everything should work as we had it. So let's refresh, and let's add a task and date due, and bam, our Android date picker comes up, and it's good to go. So we can set it, and it'll set. And every time that I want to change it, it won't let me type my own thing. It'll just set it for me, and if I cancel, obviously everything just goes away anyway. So we could add a task of blah blah blah, and our date due is here, and press set, and that's how we use the date picker. And then we have our feedback saying, hey, we added this task, which is cool. So now we have user response. We constrict people from having their own, putting their own date, because obviously they shouldn't be able to put in their own date because of the reasons I said before, like you know, they're not so smart, or they're just being a jerk, and they'll just ruin your app. So what you want to do is constrict user input as much as humanly possible. Is the pretty much moral of that story. And so now we could constrict everyone's movements pretty much. Okay, so now we're just going to add a little two sub navigation buttons for our tasks and others' tasks, and then we're going to do our signups, and then we're done. So let's go to we have div ID our tasks and div ID others tasks. Okay, so let's go to our, did we put anything? No. Okay, so we have our tasks, and we'll put that on the left because we care more about our own tasks, and we're just gonna have it secondary on this side to see other people's tasks. So we're gonna position absolute, left 0, top 0. So now we'll start in the top left corner, height of 100%, and that'll give us the height of the wrapper div that it's in, which is a sub nav bar, so it'll only be about 50 pixels. So we'll say height 100%, width 50% because we don't know the width of the phone. So say if I define it as 300 pixels and the phone is 900 pixels, it won't be half. So let's just go by percentages to be safe. And we're going to put a border right of 1 pix solid FO, and let's see where that gets us. Okay, and let's close our tasks. And as you can see the little divider. You probably can't see it on Camtasia, but you'll be able to see it on your computer and your app. You have a divider slam bam right in the middle. And let's do our other one, which is, I believe, others tasks. Others tasks. And we're just going to copy and paste. Actually, we don't, because there's barely anything the same. So we're going to have position absolute, left 50%, top 0, width 50%, height 100%, and that's about it. Okay. And now if I right click, I should see others tasks and our tasks, and now they're divided. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little I'm sorry, we're going to add just the words our tests and others tasks here, because we have pictures up here. So doing pictures, overdoing pictures is not always great. So we're going to say we want our line height 100%, and that'll have, and I'll show you what that does in a second. And let's text align center and font family Arial sans serif. And what putting a comma does is lets me put more than one font family, and it'll give me a slightly different font if I keep combining fonts together. And let's copy and paste up here, and let's go back to our index. Let's just put my tasks and class tasks, and let's see. Okay, and so we're going to change the line height, because apparently there's a quirk with percentages. So we're going to just change it to 68 pixels, which is the height of the div. Okay, and now it'll be dead smack in the middle, and let's bold it. Font size 22 pix. and let's add it here. Okay, and we're gonna put the active color black dot non-active color pound, which is a mid color gray, and we're going to be able to I think, let's just make sure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to toggle between these. This is going to be active by default because we're going to have our task come up by default, and then this will have the non-active attribute, and we'll be able to switch between them, and they'll have different colors when they're selected. So let's go to our index and let's add a class active, class non-active, and the colors will change, and we'll know that we're on my task. You could do whatever you want. You could change the background colors. So say I wanted a background color of blue for active. In theory it should work, and then this should not. So when you click it, it'll change, and you can do this for whatever. So say you want border bottom 2 pixels solid blue, and for active, and this will have a 2 pixels solid blue, and this will not have any border at all. So let's actually just steal this color. What color is this? And it is 2 pixels solid, and we're going to use hexadecimal pound 0099cc. And now if it's selected, it'll have my test, and when we click this, so let's say let's go to our JavaScript, and let's make a script to toggle between the two. Okay, now we're gonna since we only have 2 buttons, and this actually these things do something in specific, so we're going to not do it dynamically because we have 2 things. So let's do our tasks dot click function. Okay, so this is a good constraint. So if this is already selected, we don't want to be able to click it again and reload the data, because that's what it's going to do. Again, with our class test, since we're getting web data, if I keep pressing it, it'll keep reloading web data. So we're going to check to see if it has a class. Okay, so how do you check? We're gonna call our jQuery has class function. So if so this is checking for a condition. If our tasks dot has class of active, and we're just going to test it out, and we're just going to alert something, and we're going to, and it does. So it has the class of active, so the condition is true, so it'll work. So to check if a condition is not true, you put the exclamation point. So if it doesn't have the class active, it'll alert. So let's refresh, and it won't fire because it does have it. So we want to only toggle between the two if it doesn't have the class. So if our tasks div doesn't have the class active, we want to this dot add class active dot remove class not active. So in one, it's called chaining. We could put two methods in one function. If it doesn't have the class active, we're going to add the class active and remove the class non-active. Okay? And let's do the same exact thing with our others tasks. And we'll just copy and paste because it's the same exact thing. If others tasks, and we could put this, it doesn't matter. So I just want to show you that you actually target other divs. You can put this if this has class, because we are clicking others tasks, but I'm just going to use others tasks for demonstration purposes. If this doesn't have the class active, add the class active, and let's get rid of it. And we're going to say we want our tasks dot remove class active dot add class not active. Okay, and that's how we could toggle between two tabs. And we're gonna actually put this over here. Copy. And instead of our tasks, it'll be others tasks. Okay? And we can toggle between the two. And it won't fire again if it already has the class. So now we can toggle between two. And we're going to put some methods. We're going to get some web data and our tests back and forth. But for now it's fine because we still have to do our logins real quick. Okay? So let's go back to the beginning of the app. So let's get rid of my profile and action bar. So let's go to action bar. And my profile. And we're going to display none. And main page, let's get rid of it, and let's go back to our main page. Okay, so let's try to sign up. So how do we sign up? We're going to use something called serialization, and we're going to send data to the web. Let's go to our index, and since we made forms, and we're going to now use them. Okay. Okay, so we have our sign up form. And where the heck is the form? Okay, so we have sign up form. And if you remember, I made everyone put names, and I said we were going to come back to it. So now, what serialize does is it takes every single input that's in the form by their name attribute, not their IDs. So it takes everything by its name attribute and sends it to the web. So it'll be data.signupName on your PHP, data.signup signup email, and data.majorselect, data.password. And I'm not going to take the passwords. I'm just going to check to make sure that they are the same. Okay, so what we're going to do is make a script, and so we have ID sign up password and sign up password confirm. We're going to use that right now, and our form ID sign up form. Okay, and I forgot one thing. I just need the name of the button. And confirm sign up. Okay, so let's make a script. Confirm sign up. Sign up. Dot click function. and we're going to say variable 1 equals sign up password dot values. So we're going to get what we have in our sign up password, and variable 2 equals sign up password confirm dot val. So we're going to get the value, and you can make the most elaborate of constraints to check if the email is an actual email. Make sure your password lengths are right, and people have a minimum and maximum username, password, and check all these things. I'm just going to check to make sure the passwords are the same so you guys can remember them. So I'm going to say if 1 equals 2, then we're going to submit our form. Else, I want to say alert, hey, your passwords do not match. Okay, so let's make sure that works and sign up. I'm going to put a password of D and a confirm password of something random, and nothing works, and unexpected end of input. Oops, and I forgot to close the function. And let's close the function, and 2 random passwords, and do I still have unexpected input? 474. Oh, okay. Yes, that was my fault. And okay, now it's okay. And let's sign up and put 2 random passwords. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You have to put 2 equal signs. I'm losing my head today. I'm sorry. So we have to put 2 equal signs. If 1 equals 2, and that checks for equality, make sure they equals each other. And if you want to say, does it not equal each other, you put an exclamation point and an equal sign. So if they don't equal each other, do something, or greater than, or less than, or greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So I just want to check make sure they match. So if they equal each other, we're going to submit the form. If not, say, hey, it doesn't match, and hey, your passwords don't match, and let's cancel, and let's go back, and we're going to fix all that. So let's make sure they match. And I'm going to say Dan and Dan, and nothing happens. So let's add 1 more. And now they don't match. Okay, so now we're good. Now we're ready to send data to the web. And okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to post information to my server. So we're going to say dot post, which is post information to the web. Instead of getting JSON, we're sending JSON. So post. Then we're going to put in the URL, which would be http hub60.com/iPhone. And just give me a second just to confirm. iPhone /PHP and register class.php, and that's the URL that we're going to be using to sign everyone up. Okay, and function data. Oh, I'm sorry. The next thing we're going to do is, and I believe it's sign up form. At sign up form. Sign up form dot serialize. So it's going to take all that data by its name attribute, every single text area input or select, and send it to my server. And then function data, which is when it returns. And then we're going to alert the data that I'm going to send back. Alert data. Okay, and I have it's gonna say we'll say 1 if it's okay. So it's gonna say function data if data equals 1. We're going to fade our main page and our profile page. Else we're going to alert because it'll give us an error. So let's alert data. So it'll say email's been used, or for some reason, you know, there's something wrong with the posting or something of that nature. If there's an error, it'll let you know. If the data equals 1, that means there's a success, and we want to fade into our next page, and we're going to add another function to that, but I just want to do our quick function where we check to see if our passwords match. If it does, let's post to the server. Let's serialize my form. Let's post to my server, and our function, our callback. If the data equals 1, let's fade into the next screen. Unless else, let's say, hey, there was some sort of issue, and then else if the passwords don't match, just say, hey, your passwords don't match. I know this is a lot to handle. It's a pretty big function, and then that's it. So, so that's what will happen when we post to my server. We can't do it just yet because I have to put it in PhoneGap before that will work. And we're going to okay, so if perfect. Okay, so then that's how we store our stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to save our username into local storage if the data equals 1. So we're going to say, so let's get our variables. And let's go to our sign up form. And what do we have? We have our ID sign up username. Okay, and let's make that a variable. Var username equals sign up username dot value, and if the data equals 1, we're gonna local storage dot set item my username equals the variable username. So now it'll have our username will have the key my username. So when we want it later in local storage dot get item, we're going to say local storage.get item my username. So it'll be local storage.get item my username, and that will equal whatever this username variable is here, because it'll save it into local storage. It never expires. So let's just get rid of this for now because we don't need it. And so now we could contact the server via our username. And when we log in, so we have a document.ready function somewhere. So let's copy and paste this variable. Oh, actually we don't need it. So, document.ready function. So not only are we going to get our tasks from our local database, we're going to check and see if our username is in local storage. Because if it is, we don't want to sign in. We're just going to go straight to my profile page. So if, okay, so we're going to call, we're going to name a variable. We're going to say variable username equals local storage dot get item my username. So that's our variable username. So if username doesn't equal null, we're gonna go right to we're gonna hide our main page, and we're going to go to my profile directly because we don't want to have to log in every time. So okay, and since I have a user, do I have my username? And I should have in local storage key, and you can check your keys. So I have my username, so let's delete it, and nothing is gonna happen because I have nothing here. I have a bunch of stuff because I've been checking homeworks and people have been putting it here. So I have all these leftover keys. That's why I have stuff left over in my local storage. But since now it's not there and it will come out null, nothing's going to happen. So when we log in and it's a success, it'll bring us to my profile, and we never have to be at the screen again. We'll automatically be logged in forever. Okay? So what we're going to do is oh, I guess we're going to have to port this all over to PhoneGap at this time because we're going to have to be able to log in. So just give me a minute. I'll be right back.